Let's factor number 39. This is yet another sum of cubes. So it's going to be a binomial times a trinomial. The first term here is whatever's cubing to get 27x cubed. That would be a 3x. Keep the same sign. The thing we would have to cube to get 1 would just be 1. So that gives us our binomial piece. We are now going to use this to get the trinomial part. The first term here is the square of the first term here. That's going to be a 9x squared. The last term here is the square of the last term in your binomial. That's going to be a plus 1. And then for the middle term, you multiply those two together, but switch the sign. 3x times 1 is 3x, but it now becomes a negative 3x. So there's your answer. It's 3x plus 1 times 9x squared minus 3x plus 1. We now move on to solving quadratic equations. The basis for solving these is we want to get one side equal to 0 first. So for number 40, I would begin by adding 2 to both sides. I get 0 equals, this is going to be 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. Once you have one side set equal to 0, the next step is to try to factor that other side. Again, this is a trinomial with a non-1 coefficient, so you could use the AC method on this if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and skip right to the factorization. This thing will factor as a 2x and an x, a 2 and a 1, a minus and a minus. So we factored that left-hand side, and then once you have it factored, you just set each factor equal to 0 individually. So either 2x minus 1 equals to 0, or x minus 2 equals to 0, and then just solve each of the resulting basic linear equations. I add 1 to both sides. That would tell me that 2x equals to 1. Then divide by 2, divide by 2. So one solution is going to be x equals a half. For this one, I just add 2 to both sides, and I get the solution x equals to 2. Let's take a look at number 41. We don't have one side equal to 0 yet. First, let's begin by simplifying the left-hand side to get rid of that parenthesis. If I distribute, I'm going to get a 6x squared plus 5x equals to 6. I can now subtract 6 from both sides. I get 6x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals to 0. This left-hand side will factor. Again, think AC method. It's going to factor as a 2x and a 3x, a 3 and a 2, a positive and a negative. So it's 2x plus 3 times 3x minus 2. Again, I skipped kind of the work involved in that, but that'd be one of your AC methods. Once you have it factored, you just set each factor equal to 0. 2x plus 3 equals to 0. 3x minus 2 equals to 0. Solve each equation individually. Subtract 3. We get 2x equals negative 3. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. That gives us the solution x equals negative 3 halves. For this one here, you would first add 2 to both sides. So we would get 3x equals to 2. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. We get x equals 2/3. For number 42, we already have one side equal to 0, so that part's done for us. The next step would be to factor that left-hand side. And starting off, we actually have a GCF. Every single term there has a common factor of x. So we factor the x out first. We have x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals to 0. That trinomial will factor as an x plus 2 times x plus 1 equals to 0. This time we actually have 3 different factors, so we have to set each of those individual pieces equal to 0. When we set the x equal to 0, that immediately gives us the solution x equals to 0. I subtract 2 from both sides. I get x equals negative 2. And over here I subtract 1 from both sides, and I get x equals to negative 1.